So I very reluctantly started watching Million Dollar Beach House. I am definitely a Selling Sunset fan. That show is legit gold. And just the whole marketing for this Million Dollar Beach House didn't really appeal to me. It seemed quite dry and like very much a real estate show as opposed to, oh, interesting personalities are jumping out at me. Let me watch the show as it is with Selling Sunset. But I decided to click and watch the show. So outside my comfort zone, but let me see what happens. And I started watching it, and it's a good vibe. I mean, if Selling Sunset is like a 5 out of 5, then Million Dollar Beach House is like a 4.5 out of 5. It's set in the Hamptons, whereas Selling Sunset is set in LA. I now know that the Hamptons is 2 hours east of New York City, so thank you, Million Dollar Beach House. And the agency that we're following is Nest Seekers, and you basically have, I'm not sure who the owner is. Is it JB? Is it Michael? But they're sort of like the main owners of this agency, or they work in this agency, showing houses in the Hamptons to prospective buyers. So Crazy Eyes Michael Fulfrey, he's like one of the main characters, and we meet him and his best friend JB and Tracy. And then there's Noel and Peggy, who are the sort of main other two people that we follow. And I feel that the Hampton scene is very different to the LA scene. It just seems a lot more chilled, more laid back, slightly more mature, sort of upscale, but more like boho. You know, we enjoy a bit more of like a lax lifestyle. It's not as go as the LA scene. Also, their open houses look a lot more fun than LA Selling Sunset. But apart from that, I'd say Selling Sunset has the edge in terms of personalities and the characters. I definitely understand why Joel and Noel, those two twin brothers, only see each other like occasionally. I think Noel said they'd only seen each other 3 times in 8 years, and I'm like, I'm not surprised. Joel is the worst. Like, he just came out of nowhere, totally just like ruined Noel's vibes. We now know that it should actually be Noel, which is just like, ugh, just worst brother. Noel is a cool guy. I don't think it's a bad thing that he's polished. I get it. He likes to present a certain front. I don't know that he owes them like his inner life story. I definitely think like, if Michael hates polished people, he's gonna hate me because you know what I mean? Like there's so many people who just they want to come in and they want to talk and they can give you some juice, but they don't owe you their like inner turmoil and things. But anyway, Noel with his narcolepsy, sleepy Midwestern voice should have some sort of. I mean, he could narrate a sleep sounds playlist and just put you to sleep. Very soothing, very Midwestern, very relaxed and presented guy. I think they all kept trying to like crack him and find out what it was beneath what's happened, what's eating Noel, like what's his deep dark secret. Him and Peggy, Peggy likes to gab, especially when she's selling houses, and I could see that that was really winding up Noel, who has a very different approach. I mean, 35 million for a house. Don't know how he arrived at that conclusion. So I only watched to episode 2. I know there's a bit of an uproar because I think in the first episode Michael goes in on Noel and kind of says, quite derogatory comment, and it's like, oh my god, drama, tension. It's like Noel, whatever that guy's name is and stuff, which, I don't know if I'd fully call it racism. I mean, I guess you could call it a microaggression or just a guy being a bit of a guy. Like he's just like scanning for the competition, and that's the person who kind of like knocks him in a way, because in a way he's a little bit of like a threat, even if he doesn't fully acknowledge it. So maybe that's what was going on. But I only watched to episode 2. I think I will continue watching because it's an easy watch and it's very chill and it kind of like there's a little bit of interesting there. It's not as fun or as like fully engaging as Selling Sunset, but it's just a slightly different vibe. So I can't quite compare the two. It's almost like Selling Sunset is the weak and and then Million Dollar Beach House is the weekend. So it's like a totally different vibe, and you wouldn't necessarily push them together and say they should go head to head, because you're doing like you're doing a different thing in the week to when you're in the weekend. So you can't sort of say, well, this is terrible, because yes, we put it in the week, it's terrible, but if you put it at the weekend, it's great. It's a great vibe. So yeah, my thing is that I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. um and I'm going to give Selling Sunset a 5 out of 5 and leave it at that. But you should definitely check it out. I think it's trending even at number 4 in the UK. So I guess people are enjoying it, even if it's like reluctantly, and maybe they're just using it as a bandage while we're waiting for season 4 of Selling Sunset. But either way, it's still a relevant show, and I think it works. So leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought of the show. Subscribe, like or dislike this video. Anybody jump out at you in Million Dollar Beach House that you particularly were drawn to? Anybody you can't stand in this show? Was Peggy gabbing on too much? Would you, if you were selling your house and that was the approach the agent used, would you be like, yes, I love this girl, or would you just be like, chill, like, let me get my thoughts straight while you take me around the house? So would you prefer Noel's approach or Peggy's approach? Let me know in the comments, and keep watching, and hopefully see you in a few days when I do another review of some random show that Netflix feels I should try and watch, even if I'm like, do I really want to watch this show? It seems way outside my comfort zone. So anyway, all the best, people. Bye.